welcome to Trash Park. This is Bharadwaj, and what you're seeing here is Mercedes' third electric car, that is the EQB. Now this car will be launched in parallel to its IC engine counterpart, that's the GLB. We have already reviewed that car as well. We will leave the link in the description and also on the iCard. You can go check it out. But for now, let's get started with this EQB and let's see what this electric SUV is all about. Now, before we delve deep into the design and the technical aspect of the EQB, let us discuss what this SUV is all about. Now, this SUV will be launched on the 2nd of December along with the GLB, and we will tell you what are the prices of this when it is revealed. Stay tuned for that video. And also, this particular SUV will be available in a single variant, that's the EQ300. And in international markets, there is a top spec version available as well. However, we are getting the 300 only in India. And speaking of the colors, you get 6 color options right here, but this rose gold color option right here will look fantastic. You can see in the frame that it complements well to the design and overall silhouette of the car. Now let's move on to the design, and as you can see with all electric cars, the front grille is closed off for aerodynamic efficiency. There are 2 slats though to cool off some internal parts that is available here. You don't get any front trunk right here as you've seen in most electric cars. This only has mechanicals. The only space that you get is a regular boot space that you get in most cars. This has a very EQC-ish design where all the EQC cars have certain fascia. You can see that the grille is in line with the headlamp and it merges with the headlamp both the side and creates a similar face that you see on other electric Mercedes cars. And also at the bottom you get to see a chrome strip, and also around the grille you get to see a chrome strip which enhances the look of the car. And to add to the SUV-ish looks, you get to see bonnet lines that is similarly found in the GLB as well. Now, speaking about the features, this car gets a full LED headlamps and a LED lighting as well. You can spot the DRLs above the main headlamp and also a blue insert that is found on the Mercedes-Benz electric cars. Now, that is all about the front fascia, and also what you see right here are 4 air vents and not functional. So that is about the front fascia of the car. Now let's go on to the side profile and see what is there on the side of the EQB. Now this is the side profile of the EQB, and to be honest, there is not much difference between the GLB and its electric sibling, the EQB. You get the kink right here, you get a brushed aluminum window line, you get very smooth body panels and a strong shoulder line right here to accentuate the SUV-ish looks. How you can differentiate is that the GLB does not get a chrome door handle, but the EQB does. And also there is a aerodynamically shaped 18-inch alloy wheels instead of a regular 5-spoke alloy wheels that you get on the GLB. So that is how you can distinguish or differentiate between the EQB and the GLB from the side profile. Also, you get roof rails, you get chunky door handles, and you get a dual tone ORVM as well. Now that is the side profile. And also, speaking of the side profile, the EQB features a ground clearance of 155 mm, which is adequate for Indian road conditions. Now we move on to the rear profile of the EQB, and one of the most distinctive element on the rear profile is this LED light bar. Now the top part of the light bar lights up and connects both the tail lamps at the rear, which looks very good, especially at night times. And also other distinctive elements that have been brought back on the EQB is this flip up logo, which flips up to reveal the rear camera, which is otherwise concealed at regular times, what you see right here. And that is also the handle where you release the electric tailgate. And other elements will include this chrome strip which have been given on the bumper, and you get a 4MATIC badge right here, which means that this is a dual motor setup. And you get a chrome strip right down at the bumper, which adds to the premium look of the car. And also to top it off, it gets a sleek looking roof spoiler as well. On that note, let me go into the boot space and show you, because we have loaded with some luggage, to give you a perspective of how the boot looks when the third row seat is flipped on. Yes, because this is a 7-seater. This is offered as a 7-seater, much like the GLB. Now to open the tailgate, all you need to do is just press on the logo right there and it reveals the boot space. You can see 2 large luggages being loaded, and there are space for a couple of other bags as well. Here you have a parcel shelf which you can remove it and bring back the third row seating. But when you flip down the third row seat, the boot space will range between 460 liters. When you flip down the second row seat as well, it will go up to 1680 liters. So this is about the boot space of the EQB. Now when you're using all three rows, you will get a boot space of just around 130 liters. Now to close this boot, all you need to do is just click on this button right here. Now it's time to get on to the third row, and actually since we have loaded with the luggage, we have also reviewed the GLB where I have extensively shown you how to enter the third row, where you just flip up this middle row seat and it will go forward. There's no tumble function as well, but it opens up space and you enter the third row. However, the third row seats are reserved to preteens and pets, which is what Mercedes says. And after getting inside and sitting on the third row, I definitely agree with Mercedes. Adults can travel, but only for short distances. Now it is time to get onto the second row and show you how that looks. So now you enter the second row and you have to step in a little higher. That's because the floorboard is placed a little higher. That's because the battery pack is placed beneath the floorboard. And let me just shut this door. Once you're sitting, as you can see, I'm sitting very upright right here. Now I have an option to recline the seat. It reclines to up to 25 degrees. And to do that, you have to reach out to the handle right here and put in some effort and recline it. And also with that, you can deploy the armrest right here. Very generous armrest. I love how Mercedes-Benz has integrated this armrest, and it also has two cup holders that pop out. Very good Mercedes, and this feature is found in the GLB as well. And sitting here, since your knee is a little bit high up, the under thigh support is not to extent what it is found in the GLB, but however you sit comfortably and you have ample knee room. You got leg room that you can tuck under the seat, although not as much as the GLB, and you have ample headroom as well. All the three passengers sitting in the second row get adjustable headrest, and also the seats that you can see is in a dual tone format, where the middle of the seat is finished in some rose gold feature complementing the exterior color, and also you get a little bit jutting out of the seat where under thigh support is improved a little bit. However, the third person sitting here will face some difficulties in placing their foot on the floorboard because of that transmission tunnel. Now apart from that, the features that you get on the rear seat are these two AC vents that you can point it towards any direction. However, there's no blower control right here or temperature control, and also you get single USB charger, Type-C charger right here. And this being a 50 lakh odd car, again I mentioned this in GLB, this is a net back pocket that you get, which could have been better. Now those are all the amenities that you get on the second row, and which is very much like the GLB. However, the floorboard is a little high up as compared to the GLB. Now it's time to sit in the front seat and tell you everything you need to know about the features and other stuff. So now I'm sitting at the EQB's driver's seat, and here it is a familiar space. All the elements that have been brought back on the EQB, that is similar to its IC engine counterpart, that's the GLB. However, the turbine style AC vents, what you see right here, is finished in rose gold complementing the exterior color, and also you get hard set buttons for the climate control, since there is a dual zone climate control, which is very good, and kudos to Mercedes for that. You get a brushed aluminum finish right there on the dashboard, along with a pattern. What you see right here looks like carbon fiber. However, this lights up along with the 64 color ambient lighting to make it look immersive. And speaking of immersive, the experience becomes even more serene when you open up the panoramic dual pane sunroof that you see right here. The front pane opens up and reveals the sky. However, the rear pane is fixed and do not open up at all. Now moving on to further features of this car, you get two 10.25 inch displays right here. The left one is for the infotainment system, that is a touchscreen unit. The right one is for the instrument cluster, which is again one of the highly customizable instrument clusters that we have seen in the industry. And both are now tailored to match the EV characteristics of the car. You have lot of features that cater to EV character of this SUV. For example, stating the charge and how the regen is working, all that can be seen on the dials right here. Now when it comes to infotainment system right here, you can get to see what are the nearest charging touch points when you go into the navigation. All these are being displayed for the EQB customers to help them live easily with this electric SUV. Apart from that, you see a familiar steering wheel with a flat bottom design. You get to see paddle shifters. Now these are not for gas because this does not have any gas. This is for the regen system. Pressing on the pedal on the right will increase the regen, and pressing on the pedal on the left will reduce the regen. So going with maximum regen will also help in improving the range of the car. And coming onto the center console, you get to see ambient lighting right here, and also you get to see cup holders and a wireless charging pad right here. This is a touchpad which is used to control the infotainment system, and also there are some buttons right here to set up the car dynamics. So for example, different drive modes that is available here, and also for the parking camera and the vehicle settings. Speaking of the infotainment system, it also features Android Auto, Apple CarPlay and Mercedes MBUX technology, which is renowned for its voice activation technology. And through that you can control a lot of features via voice commands, for example opening sunroof and setting the temperature. Apart from that, a whole host of features. From that we move on to the touchpad, where you can control the infotainment system through the touchpad as well. And also, if you are not happy with those controls, you can also control the infotainment system through the steering buttons right here on the left side of the steering buttons, and the right side of the steering buttons will help you control the instrument cluster right there. And finally, let's get on to the seats. Now these seats are power operated. You get to see 8-way power adjustable seats with 3 memory function. The lumbar support is also electronically operated. You can control that via the switches present on the bottom of the seat, and also you get to adjust the under thigh support that is present on this manually, which is a neat feature. And speaking of the seats, it has got good bolstering, and again the dual tone theme of rose gold and leather goes on here as well. Now these are all made with sustainable materials, which is eco-friendly across the car, and kudos to Mercedes for that again. Now these are all the features that are present on the EQB. Now it is time to take this car out for a spin and tell you how this car drives. So now I'm driving the Mercedes-Benz EQB, and it is a familiar cabin. As I mentioned, it is very familiar to the GLB. However, what's underneath is not at all a familiar sight. Now let me speak a little bit about the electric powertrain. Now this particular car comes with a 66.5 kilowatt hour battery, and it is paired to a motor that produces 165 kilowatt hour power. Now this translates to a range of 423 kilometer per charge is what Mercedes-Benz claims according to the WLTP figures. However, we think that the real time or real world figures would be somewhere around 380 kilometers per charge. Now moving to the performance, this car puts out 393 Newton meters of torque, which is a very healthy figure for a 7-seater SUV, which is almost similar to Mercedes-Benz's GLB's diesel powered model. So in that sense, this car can definitely do 7 people, and it has the right performance to lug in a full load. And since the electric motor puts out instant torque, this will also help in getting that right driving pleasure even with the full load. Now that is being delivered through 2 motors, one on the front axle and one on the rear axle. A combination of permanent synchronous motor and asynchronous motor is present on the EQB. Now these 2 paired together will enable Mercedes-Benz's all-wheel drive 4MATIC system, which will come on only when it is required, which will add to the overall driving practicality of this SUV. And with that, let me move on to the charging options that is offered on the EQB. Now you have 3 different options to charge this from. One is through a DC fast charger. Now if you charge this via DC fast charger, it will juice up from 0 to 80% in under just 36 minutes. Now if you use a AC wall box charger that is offered to EQB customers as a complimentary from Mercedes-Benz, which is a 11 kilowatt AC fast charger, the car will juice up from 10% to 100% within 6.5 hours. And also there is another option which is not currently available in India right now, because EQB supports up to 100 kilowatt of DC fast charging, which will juice up the battery even faster than 36 minutes of 50 kilowatt fast charging. Now these are all the charging options that is available here. So basically you will be getting a full charge in 6.5 hours and you'll be able to travel around 380 kilometers, which would make it a very practical range for an SUV. With this definitely interstate travel would be possible. Also to help you with that range, as I mentioned, it has a regen system. Now the regen system can be controlled using the paddle shifters right behind the steering wheel. It has 3 levels of regen. One is the minimal, one is normal, and one is at its highest regen. At its highest regen, you can definitely feel the car being slowed down a lot. However, if the single foot driving is possible or not with the highest level of regen is something that I will have to test drive this car extensively to let you guys know. However, it does stop the car pretty well on its highest regen. Now with that, we also noticed one interesting fact that when we were driving this down the Kodaikanal hills, we could notice that the range actually increased because we were driving this on its highest regen. Now that will add more range into your travel as well. Now that is about the range, charging options and the electric powertrain. Now let me speak a little bit about the driving dynamics of this car. Starting with the suspension, it is similarly set up as the GLB. It is neither stiffly sprung nor there is a softer setup. I think it's well balanced and it can handle Indian roads very well. However, since it has a battery pack placed low down, it aids to better center of gravity than the GLB. That makes it a even good handling SUV than the GLB. So we were taking this car out on the curves of the Kodaikanal hills and we were mighty impressed with how this car handled. I will not say that this car does not have any body roll, because being a 7-seater SUV, it does move a fair bit around the corners. However, it is not a deal breaker as such. Now the next thing what I want to speak is the NVH levels. Mercedes-Benz have done a fabulous job at this. They have managed to isolate all the road noises and the outside noise creeping into the cabin. I absolutely love how silent this car is. With that, you can also improve the NVH levels of this car using that beautiful sounding 10-speaker audio system, which I loved it when I used it. So you will definitely have a pleasurable drive on the EQB, that I can guarantee. Now moving on to other driving aspect, that's the drive modes. You have 3 drive modes that corresponds to the throttle input, the ESP, and also the steering input as well. It has a total of 4 modes: Eco, Comfort, Sport, and Individual. Individual will correspond to the individual setup that you want to do with the car. It'll help you put the steering in whatever the mode you want, and also the engine in whatever the mode you want, and also the ESP in what mode that you choose. But speaking more about the Eco, Comfort, and the Sport, Eco definitely is more subdued and subtle. Also in that mode you get maximum range on this electric SUV. However, the Comfort mode balances between Eco and Sport mode, so it gives you the best of both worlds is what I can say. Now if you put this car on the Sport mode, it becomes properly quick. That instant torque coming from a sharper throttle response will help this car propel to good speeds in a shorter time. With that, let me speak about the performance as well. The 0 to 100 mark is dealt in under 8 seconds, and it will go all the way up to a top speed of 160 km/h, which are healthy figures for this electric SUV. Now let me move on to the last segment, that's the safety. This car comes with a whole host of safety features. Up to 9 airbags is offered on this model, and also this gets ADAS features as well. That's the active safety feature like lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring. All these features are available on this car. Along with that, you get a ton of passive safety features as well, like ABS with EBD, electronic stability program, hill listen control, hill hold assist. All those features are also present on this car to make this car one of the safest cabin in the segment. On that note, Mercedes-Benz is also offering a good amount of pedestrian safety with this car as well. So let me sum it up overall. The EQB offers 7 seats. It is also a fully electric SUV offering a very practical range of above 400 kilometers, and also this SUV comes with a whole host of features and added safety. So if you are looking for a 7-seater electric SUV, the EQB can be a top choice. So that was our review of the Mercedes-Benz EQB. Now Mercedes-Benz is offering this 7-seater SUV in an all-electric format, which is a rare find in the Indian market. What did you think about this electric SUV? Mention them in the comments below. Also like and share this video and do subscribe to DriveSpark if you haven't done it already. This is Bharadwaj signing off. Stay safe and drive safe.